with the 6-point combinations now. We know that means 6 punches. It also means where the entropy started setting in around the 4-point combinations. We'll imagine where we're at the 6 points. We're talking about the entropy increases at an exponential level here. So we're going to do the walk-ups all the way through this like we were doing in the 5-point combinations. We're just going to give you 3 of these 6 points, and then, like I said, the beat punching and the linking combinations ahead will show you how actually these high point combinations can be so much easier to assimilate. But again, use the walk-up method to get here. So in the first one, the first punch in this rung is what?
Jab.
Standard jab. Again, a whole round. All around. And don't let this, your jab can never be boring for you. It's the most important punch there is, so you're constantly throwing it. Again, I'd be throwing with a lot more alacrity than this, but we're still trying to get through to make sure we understand the combination. Next.
Cross.
Standard jab cross. We know what's coming up. Bang, bang. Said bang again. Yep. 3rd point, hook. And you see how there's really a finite number of punches, as we know, even though we expanded the arsenal at the beginning of this material. So it gets to be where the punches that will follow up get to be predictable. So jab, cross, lead, hook. We've seen it before. What's next?
Cross.
Okay, jab, cross, hook, cross. And you'll notice there's a tendency for, when you start doing these walk-ups and you get to the higher numbers of the combination, when you're doing the walk-up, the front 2, 3, 4-point portions of the punches look crisper and crisper because that's where your body and your brain is comfortable playing. The fall-off starts happening in the later numbers, so in the jab, cross, hook, cross, you probably still look pretty crisp. Next.
Lead uppercut.
Okay, jab, cross, hook, cross, lead uppercut. So we get 1, 2, 3. I'm sorry. That's all right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll count it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what's the 6?
That's the rear uppercut.
Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Jab, cross, lead hook, cross, lead uppercut, rear uppercut. So that's jab. Staying with it, just jabbing. Next, cross, jab, cross. And again, you can't get too bored throwing a jab or a cross because these are fundamentals of the system or the science, the art of boxing, pugilism. Next,
lead uppercut.
Jab, cross, the uppercut. Next,
that is the cross.
Okay, jab, cross, lead uppercut, cross. What's next?
Make sure I'm getting these in order. Jab, cross, lead uppercut, cross, hook.
Jab, cross, lead uppercut, cross, hook. Catch you in the face?
I just hit myself with that. Yeah.
It's a freebie.
Knock me out there. All right, I gotta get it.
So it's jab, cross, lead uppercut, cross, hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nice. And what's next?
And then that's the final one is a rear uppercut.
Rear uppercut. So walk it again. Jab, cross, lead uppercut, cross, hook, rear uppercut, rear uppercut. Again, when you get to this point, if it's confusing for your feeder, initially confusing for you in your training, imagine how confusing it is for an opponent who's not encountered you throw this particular combination. So when you want to get them down cold, it gets harder and harder to read these angles. Let's see if his brain will still hold that. So we're here, jab, cross, lead uppercut, cross, We got the hook, rear uppercut. Huh? Oh, I snuck a different punch. That was still 6 points, but that's an extra. Totally intended. Okay. And that's, to be honest with you, that's to some degree what you want to happen with your entropy, where you don't screw up a punch and this happens. You want to be going, oh. You want to just be tripping, throwing these things, and you have a plan as you go into the combination, but even in the context of feeding, if it blends to a different punch, the key is still to get 6 points, 6 points, 6 points to see where it goes. So you're going to be walking, jab, cross, lead uppercut, cross, hook, rear uppercut.
It's a jab. Jab. We're walking it up. There's my jab. Just popping it out there in a lazy fashion. What's next? Do the cross.
Jab, cross, the old 1-2. Back it up a little bit. See me up at the sky looking for that overhead. Next.
Jab, cross, hook.
Jab, cross, hook. Jab, cross. What's next?
Jab, cross, hook, cross.
What's next?
Jab, cross, hook, cross, cross.
Okay, so we're going to have to be a slight beat in between there to double up on that cross. So we got jab, cross, hook, cross, pull, cross. And next,
Jab, cross, hook, cross, cross, hook.
jab, cross, hook, cross, cross, hook. Finishing off with that lead arm.
Terrible feet.
It's all right. How you doing at home? Okay, there we go. Okay, you get the idea. I am not going to lie to you that there's entropy as we walk these up, and the excuse I'm making is the reality. There is no way that you are going to memorize every single combination that I presented to you, or every single possible combination there is. Your job is to treat each individual combination on your 3-3-minute rounds. It's just a exterior form, a shell drill, to get you used to throwing your arms in different permutations. And the reason, that's why the throwing in 2s feels comfy. Throwing in 3s will feel comfortable. 4s and 5s and 6s, when you're having to adhere to this strict order, gets increasingly hard to hold in your head, but it will come natural. Like you've got to trust me on this. You'll find on your own training. By the time we get to the end of a whole 3-minute round doing this, it's smooth. You take your breather, get some water for 30 seconds, pop back on that same combo for the next round, even smoother by the 3rd round. It's just magic at that point. But the key is, in boxing, you're not going to be walking around with all these prearranged index cards in your head of which combinations to throw. You just pre-trained your body to groove your body to go, oh, no matter where my hands are in what position, I'm training to throw from every position, but throwing consistently and constantly. So once you learn, like I was saying in some of these earlier drills, you learn the combinations as drills, and eventually when you start boxing and sparring, they'll go out the window. You'll just be throwing combinations on the fly. You won't think, oh, I'm going to throw a 4-point right here. It will just happen. So you got to put yourself through this intellectual, creative disturbance of playing the drills this way, but it'll all come together by the time you hit the sparring. Okay, we finished up with all the combination work running from 2 beats up to 6 beats, and you see how as I keep telling you, the entropy occurs the higher the number of the combination. I mean, higher the number of the punches in the combination. We talked about how to do the stair-step method to make this work, to make you be able to assimilate this information easier. But there's another way to approach it that might be even easier for some of you. Depends on how you'll be able to tell in your own training. If you get to a point you go, hey, these 5 points and 6 points are always out of my reach. I don't know how to put them together. Then this is where the linking combination combinations idea will come into play. If you find, most people find no problem with 2s and 3-point combinations or even 4 points, but the 5 and the 6s and above starts bogging them down. I'm going to show you how to add combinations together to create these higher point combinations. So first we're going to take a 2-point, a standard jab cross, which we've already done. I'm not going to throw everything there is into it right now, but we know it's just jab cross. You'd be running around for your few rounds making sure that you can throw your jab cross with everything you've got. Now we'll pick something from the 3-point combination menu, which in this case is going to be the hook, cross, hook. So we got lead hook, cross, back into the hook. So we're here just moving around for our rounds, and everyone can feel comfortable with a 2-point and a 3-point combination. Remember how we started having problems with the 5-point combinations? We get to chunk this information in our minds a little bit differently, like how we do phone numbers with the 3 digits up front, with the hyphen, and then the 4 digits following. And we've got the jab cross, then a 2-point combination, then we're going to add that 3-point on top, which was the hook, cross, hook. So you see how we put them together. We get a whole round of jab cross, whole round of hook, cross, hook, and combined. So again, just jab cross, moving around with your jab cross, then a whole round with the 3-point. And then you marry those two together. And you see that was a lot easier than walking in and going, here's your combination, which is going to be jab, cross, hook, cross, hook. When you just hear that information all run together, your brain goes, oh. So if you get a point where you're thinking, I can never do 5s, I can never do 6s, if you can do 2s and 3s, you know you can always build at least as high as a 5 all the way through. Just simple mathematics. So again, jab, cross for 3-minute rounds. Then I did a different combination altogether. It's blowing and flowing now.
Just punching everything.
And then you put them together. That's the concept with linking combination. We just took 2 things from the menu. You get to mix and match them on your own now. Just take a look at the previous 2 points and 3 points. Find which ones would naturally flow together, and then link them on your own. And then you can really take this menu through the roof at that point. Next concept we got to play with is called beat punching. This is a way to take, in case you have a problem building the 5 and 6-point combinations, even with a walk-up, or you've tried them as linking combinations, they still not worked out for you. Beat punching will remedy what ails you. As long as you can get as high as a 4-point combination, you'll be fine with beat punching. Now, where beat punching works for people who go, hey, I had no problem mastering the 5s and the 6 points, and I can link combinations all day long. Perfect. This will still work for you, because there's a tendency to always throw combinations with a steady rhythm to them. You're going to hear, like if Mitch has his gloves up, I'm going to throw a 4-point combination. It's going to be a jab, cross, lead hook, cross. So it's just, you can hear this. Pay attention as I'm throwing the punches right now. You're going to hear one standard rhythm, like pop, 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 pop. All the way through. Now what you can do with beat punching is that there's a tendency for when people learn combinations, they run through, once they get comfortable with them, they find a particular rhythm that suits them. It might go a little bit faster whenever they're feeling fresh. The rhythm might slow down whenever they're getting fatigued or they're first learning something. They will still have pretty much a discernible rhythm that you can follow. Now, once that rhythm is found, then if you're a really thinking fighter, you can start finding the rhythm on someone. You can start stop hitting someone in between their punches. So what you can also do is learn how to do what's called putting slight beats in between different subsections of a combination, making it harder for your opponent to read what's going on. We're going to take that same 4-point combination, jab, cross, lead hook, cross. We're going to put a number on them just for the sake of argument for this demonstration now. So the jab is the number 1. Cross is number 2, the hook is a 3, and this last cross is number 4. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. And put all those numbers together. Listen to how they flow as bam, 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 consistent sound, whether I'm going quickly with them or slowly with them. Now what we can do to start subdividing that, we've already put them as 1, 2, 3, 4. If we decide to go 1, 2, 3, 4, that's where we put our first beat in. So that means I'm going to throw a jab, and then I'm back to my standard rhythm. So we started pulling one single combination apart, and we can put it back together in 5 different ways. So 1, 2, 4. You get the idea there. Now we can also further subdivide with go 1, 2, beat, 3, 4. So we've got, again, that's a bit of exaggerated beat, but you're getting the idea of what we're doing now. Now we can also further subdivide it with the 1, 2, 3, and then you've got the 4 on it. So we've got jab, cross, lead hook, hold on that cross, the final cross, and then hit. How we can further subdivide this, you got the 1, 2, 3 with the 4. You can start putting more divisions in between earlier sections. I can give a 1, a 2, then a 3, 4. So it's a 1 beat, 2 beat, 3, 4. So jab, cross, then you get the hook cross. Jab, cross. So beat, beat. What we can also do with this, we get the 1, 2, 3, 4. We can put the beats in as bookends, and we'll have a 1 beat, 3, 4. 1 beat, 2, 3. Back to the beat. So we've got a jab, then we've got the cross hook, and then the final cross. So what we've done there, again, we took one combination of 4-pointer, pulled it apart in every variation we could, and made that single combination a little bit more interesting to play with, and it can be a lot harder for your opponent to read. And it's a good idea once you feel like you've mastered combinations. You're very good about flowing all the way through 5, 6, 7 pointers. And linking combinations. Then go back to the beginning with at least start with a 3-point. Beat punching and a 2-point that doesn't play nearly as well. Start with 3 points, go to the 4 points, find how to start putting beats in them. Take a single combination in one whole workout and subdivide that. And that's going to give you 5, 6, 7 rounds to play with in one single combination. So you can see combinations may be finite, but when you start pulling them apart in different beats and different linking, then you start seeing it may be finite, may mean it doesn't go to infinity, but the number does really start climbing through the roof. Staying in the same vein with our combinations, we had an orthodox arsenal. We showed you the unorthodox arsenal with the illegal shots, the dirty shots. We've already discussed to some degree how these things can be inserted all over the place. Whenever you're throwing you can be throwing a hook that you miss with. You catch it with the elbow. You come back with the back elbow. Open this up into a hammer shot, or if you miss with a straight shot, how it can slide right into a hacksaw. If I kept going through and showing you every possible combination or permutation that comes out of the illegal arsenal, this material would just get ridiculously long. At this point, I think you already understand how some of these work. But to make sure that we're not doing you any disservice, we're going to still supply you with a few combinations that can kind of mix the orthodox and the unorthodox arsenal together to get you going with it. And then at that point, you can apply your own creativity, start mixing and matching some of these ideas. We'll start with some basic combos with ideas that combine the handwork, the standard boxing arsenal, along with your elbows. So in the first be standard jab, and then we're going to use a cross elbow, which is, when I say cross elbow, I'm just talking about elbows that move in just like we're throwing a standard rear shot. So it's going to be jab, step in and throw the elbow. As I described to you, you can use the tie version if that's what you're comfortable with, or the boxer's cage version, whichever one works for you. So if you've got your jab, and you're going to step in with that elbow, because you see, an elbow is pretty obviously, it's a close range tool. If I'm out here in a jab, I can't stay out here and do it. It's going to have to be the jab, pretty much a falling step like in the jab variety, to get myself to the inside. So we're moving around. You get the idea. The next one would be throwing just a standard cross and then using the lead elbow as a follow-up. Your step to the inside with the lead elbow will not have to be as deep. Since the cross is on a long-range punch, you're at least close enough to make sure this elbow can play. So it'll be cross, a little bit of a shuffle in as we throw that lead elbow off. So we're here, cross, a little bit of a shuffle, so we come in with this elbow. Get the idea on that one. Dirty boxing combinations. We're going to continue on combining our standard boxing arsenal, the orthodox arsenal, with the elbows. There should be a brief I know, look at me talk. A brief digression here in the sense that whenever all the other unorthodox tools I showed you, from the sluggers to the axe punches and the hammer punches and stuff, to be honest with you, I prefer them. I'm showing you lots of combinations with the boxing mixed with the elbows, because there's so many people who are elbow fans out there. And I use them myself. I'm going to make sure you understand why I use them perhaps less than some people are strict enthusiasts, because it calls for so much of giving up. You have to do so much commitment on the elbow, not necessarily hip twist or anything along those lines, but so much having to move all the way in, so much exposure on the ribs, and so much recovery time. At the same time, I can get a lot more speed out of a standard boxing arsenal. But the elbows do have their place, hence I'm giving you these combinations with them. But to make sure that we understand that I would probably more likely want to throw some boxing combos into the sluggers and the back, the axes and stuff. So that little bit of a caveat out of the way. We're going to throw a jab directly into a lead elbow. So we're going to double up in the same combination. So we just hit the jab, we're moving around, throwing the jab, you got to step in and put that lead elbow into place. So jab, step in. Jab. And you can take your choice again, whether it's going to be Thai version or covering up in the boxing version with it with the cage. And hopefully you can see to some degree, if we turn some of my problems with the elbow, notice at the end of it, even with quick recovery, I'll freeze at the end. Ooh, I'm just not a fan of that openness, but it still has its place because it has quite a wallop on it. So it's here, bang, bang. Turn around, same bang, bang again. Next we're going to throw is a jab cross combination for the orthodox arsenal right into a lead up elbow. So we're going to have the jab, cross, and we'll drop that one down a little bit on the feet. So it's going to be here, here, and up. It's a nice little tight one. To be honest with you, the up elbow, I have less of a problem with that one than I do these cross horizontal elbows. So jab, cross, lead up. Get the idea there. From here, we can also start combining it with some other the other varieties, the orthodox punching. We get a rear uppercut to lead. Then we're going to follow this up with a hook and then a rear elbow. So we're going to have rear uppercut to a lead hook. We'll run those first. We're just here. Rear uppercut into the lead hook. And we're doing that stair-stepping process like we did when we were building up our 2, 3-point, 4-point, 6-point combinations. And then last but not least, we're here, finally, with the rear elbow to here. So it's going to be here, here, and into here. Get the idea on that one as well. Now we can start putting this together with like a jab, the old 1-2 combination. In this case, we're going to have a jab, cross, then a lead up elbow, and then a rear cross elbow. It's going to be horizontal. So slowly, you're just going to be probing the jab. That's to 1 point, and you got the 2 point. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, then up. Last but not least, you got 1, 2, up, then put that cross elbow on. Get the idea there. Again, they have their place. But make sure you're always combining back and forth between the boxing and the elbows to make sure they have a nice blend to them. More elbow fun. We're going to continue to build these up because we're getting more points on these combinations. So we're going to stair step them like we do in the standard combination arsenal. Here we're going to start with the standard jab. We're just patting that jab. First point in this combination. Next on this, we're going to hit with it's going to be 1, 2. It's going to be jab, cross, move around, jab, cross, Feel nice and comfy with it. After the jab, cross, we're going to throw a hook to the body. So that means we're going to have to change the level. It's going to be jab, cross, hook to the body. Notice I got to go down with that hook. I can't be too repetitive on that idea to make sure we're not throwing our hooks with this open position right here. It's going to be throwing that hook down the body, jab, cross, hook the body, jab, cross, hook the body, and then last but not least, we're going to return with the rear elbows. That means we're going to come right back upstairs because we hit low. We either need to leave or we need to come right back up high. So we've got jab, cross, hook the body, back up with that cross elbow. So Get the idea. We're going to stair step the next one. We're going to throw a jab again. Get the jab. Jab, jab, jab. The next tier on that was going to be the jab cross. Looking familiar, using the standard boxing arsenal to set these things up. Get the jab cross. Then from the jab cross, we're going to go into the hook. Jab cross, hook. 1, 2, 3. Jab cross, hook. What we got next on this tier, jab, cross, hook, into the rear corkscrew elbow. So we're traveling down at a 45-degree angle. It's going to be jab, cross, hook, corkscrew elbow. Again, it's traveling. Same trajectory, path. I know how to spell the word. And then you bring, as the overhand, you take this across with the elbow diagonal and down. That's the corkscrew. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go. Get the idea. Okay, from that, we're going to follow up with opening with something that's not a jab or a cross. Surprise, surprise. We're going to open with a rear uppercut. So we're just throwing, bam, rear uppercut, bam, rear uppercut. We're trying to make sure we educate the elbows coming from all sorts of combinations from the orthodox boxing arsenal. Now after the rear uppercut, with that we're going to follow up with a standard hook. Rear uppercut to the hook. 2 points of the combination. Moving on to the third point, which is going to be the rear elbow. So we got rear uppercut, hook, rear elbow. Let's put another point on this one. Got the rear uppercut, you got the hook, you've got the rear elbow, and this we have to assume sometimes people don't necessarily stay in your elbow range, so you're gonna have to fall back. We open with the orthodox boxing arsenal, go to the elbows, have to fall back on boxing. So here we're gonna go rear uppercut, hook, rear elbow. I lost him to some degree, steps back. Then I got a cross coming in again. We'll start out right about here. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3. I lose him. Cross to cover that range. So we're here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Get the idea. We're going to put one more point on that. We just use that cross to cover the distance. We're going to follow up, put one more elbow on it. We're assuming we've now recovered that distance. We're back in elbow play. Rear uppercut. We've got the hook on it. We've got the rear elbow. He steps back. There's my cross. And I slide in for this lead cross elbow with the lead horizontal elbow. So we're at 1, 2, 3. I lose him. 4, 5. Lose him. Bang, bang. You see, I almost wanted to throw a hook on that one.
You were going to reach.
Yeah. More of a boxer than an elbow guy, but I already let you know my bias right up front. So we're 1, 2, 3. Lose him here to here. More time. Almost 2 more boxing combinations. Here we go.
So tempting.
Get the idea on that one. Give you one more standard boxing combined with elbows. Standard jab, opening up. Means the bread and butter punch. Might as well use it. Follow this up with the cross. Jab, cross, jab, cross, jab, and cross. The next point on is going to be a hook to the body. Jab, cross, hook the body. Going low down to it. Cross, hook the body. Jab, cross, hook the body. Next point in this combination, we're going to throw the rear elbow. So we jab, cross, hook the body. We know we got to come back up high or leave the room. Here we go. One more point on this one. If we put that rear elbow in, we're going to follow up, finish off with this lead up elbow. So we've got a jab, a cross, a hook to the body, a cross elbow, and up elbow. If I don't freak out, turn to an uppercut anyway because of my boxing instincts. So we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, up to the 5. Terrible feet. the idea. Combining orthodox with unorthodox as far as the elbows go. And in case you're wondering, well, where's the combination with all those other cool illegal shots you showed us? We'll do that next. Here we go, as promised, combining the standard orthodox arsenal with some of the tools of the unorthodox arsenal. And yeah, there will be some elbows in here, but elbows, as I truly see them, is being used for where they're used as inserts, whether as is an intentional shot to begin with. I'm going to give you one 8-point combination with this orthodox arsenal combined with unorthodox. And then after that, it's going to be fairly easy to start finding ways to combine these other unorthodox combinations on your own. The reason I haven't provided any more than this is because at this point, you probably already noticed the running time on this thing is 21 hours and counting. And no one's going to be able to afford this if I start giving you every possible permutation. But I think this will give you a good idea how to put them together, and it will make sense. Again, since the orthodox arsenal came first, it shows you that I put more value on it. So we're going to make the orthodox arsenal open it up and let the unorthodox start falling into play. So we're going to open up with this standard lead hook. We've got standard lead hook. We're just lightly banging on these right now. I'm not putting perfect form to anything. It's getting an idea of how we can build this. Here we go, whole round of this. The next we're going to use the elbow as the insert. I was talking about the difference between intentional tool, which meant throwing the elbow just as the elbow. Here we've got a lead hook combined. You can hear that slight double tap where the elbow comes into play. Marciano was terrific at this, whether intentional or not. The elbows came into play to a large degree. So you might as well start playing that game yourself. So while I'm throwing that hook, I'm putting a little bit of a whip hook on it and allowing that elbow to glide through. So again, we're going with the hook and this forward elbow on it. Got the idea. Now what we're going to do following up on that, that's 2 points. We've got the hook into this elbow. We're going to come back with the back elbow. I mean, we're already in play with this. We need to start coming back. So we got tap, tap, back in. Got the idea there. Now so far we just used a standard orthodox arsenal, and we had 2 elbows as inserts, following in kind of a natural fluid flow. So far it's not anything where we went hook, here's an elbow, here's an elbow. It's all following a natural arm movement at this point. And this sort of thing's been around in boxing since the beginning of time, apparently, but you had to drop out a lot of these things for the safety of the sport. Now, we've done it with that back elbow. We're going to open this up into an extended back hammer. So we've got hook, elbow insert, back to a back elbow, then open this up and let the hammer fist take care of it. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We see the idea? And if you get to a point when you're throwing this combination, you're going to go, oh, I hit with those 2. This one fell off and this one's back in. That's the point for this being a natural seamless flow, because not every one of them is going to bite some meat. You got to just keep throwing, finding in your boxing arsenal where these things come into play, and let the effect be cumulative, kind of a scattergun effect, and see what hits. Again, we're here. Got that? 1, 2, 3, 4. And again. There we go. Now we're going to go from this unorthodox arsenal right back into the standard arsenal. After all that, we're going to follow up with the cross. So we've got hook, elbow, back elbow, hammer shot. There's the cross. So we can start seeing how we're letting the orthodox and the unorthodox pull us back into position the same way we do in boxing, because I would throw a hook directly into a cross. But if I want to start combining these, I'm trying to get the exact same body mechanics so I don't have to serve 2 masters and figure out, what's the hit play if I play an orthodox game, hit play when I play an unorthodox game. You're trying to make them the same game no matter what. So you've got your 1, 2, 3, 4, and do your cross. Get the idea there. Now we're going to follow up after that cross with another portion of the orthodox arsenal, which is going to be the lead uppercut. So we've got hook, elbow, elbow, hammer, cross, lead uppercut. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Some of those numbers will be off, and ending up with the lead uppercut. Get in there. It's hard. You kind of hear that little bit of a popping sound. The majority of them are in there, and occasionally, because the gloves will fly away from you, just as your opponent will fly away from you. You're going to have to just keep moving through your flow and see what bites the meat. That's a horrible phrase, by the way, but feel free to spread it. So we've got hooking, elbow, back elbow, to the hammer fist, cross. Now we're into the uppercut. Turn that into a lead up elbow. So we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Get the idea? Put one more shot on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the uppercut, 7. And now we're coming in. It could either be a down elbow or combine it directly into a downward hammer fist. You say, well, my opponent's standing up. Where am I hitting him with this? I just hit him with an uppercut through here, banging right on the nose. So again, we're here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here, and I'm trying to get that double tap on there if I can.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Just whatever it bites at that time. Over here. Get the idea? You're going to play through with these ideas. And what you want to do, basically, I don't want to really see you go, hey, here's a jab cross combination. The elbow. Even though I showed you those ideas just previous to this, I think you're slicker to go jab, cross, hook into the elbow. Trying to make sure they have a natural flow to them. They're harder to read that way, and it puts you to better advantage there. So hopefully this one idea through an 8-point, and actually we turned it to 9 points on the mixing the orthodox with the unorthodox will give you the idea how far you can push your combination ideas. Again, you're going to have to create them on your own, because again, if I put every single one of these I have in the notebook on this material for you, again, we're looking 25, 26 hours. No one can afford it, not even me. But sincerely, play with that arsenal. Try and mix orthodox with unorthodox, but try and make them where they feel like inserts, seamless flow, not picking and choosing.